Hey there everybody, this is Chelsea with Let's Talk. Today let's break down defining and non-defining relative clauses. So we've already learned about relative clauses. It's a clause that gives us more information about a noun. And unlike adjectives, it always comes right after the noun it's describing. But an important thing to know is there are actually two kinds of these relative clauses. The first kind is what we call defining or essential relative clauses. And these defining essential clauses, they help us identify which person or thing is being described or is being discussed. Without this clause, we would have no idea what you're talking about. We can't tell which guy, which table. So we need to have a defining clause to identify which thing is being discussed. So these are all of the clauses we have worked on so far. So for example, the guy who vomited went home. Our defining relative clause is telling us about the guy. It's telling us which guy went home. Without it, the guy went home. Who's the guy? I have no idea. So we need this clause to identify what is being described. A non-defining or non-essential clause, on the other hand, does not tell us which one. We already know which thing is being discussed. So this clause just adds extra info. All right, so for example, all right, Dr. Wolf, who has treated me for years, prescribed some medication. So here, we already know which person, Dr. Wolf, specifically, that guy. We know who that is, so this relative clause, just extra info. He has treated me for years. Oh, okay, good to know. But we can take it out. Dr. Wolf prescribed some medication. And we have the important idea from the sentence. So, non-defining clauses, it's just extra information. So, there are some characteristics of these non-defining or non-essential clauses. Just things that are usually true. Usually, they are proper nouns. Proper noun is a name, something with a capital letter, so like Dr. Wolf. There's something that are unique, like the sun or the moon, there's only one. Or something that we already know which one is being discussed. It's been talked about before. I know which one. I don't need the clause to tell me. Also, this is usually only used in written English. It's possible to do it in spoken English. It's just a little formal. It's a little weird, I guess. So it's great for essays. when you want to add extra information about whatever your topic is, it's great. Just a little weird in spoken English. You can do it, it's just a little weird. Now, some rules. Okay, our first rule is that we cannot take out the relative pronoun. So this is different from defining clauses. When we have a relative clause about an object, we can drop that relative pronoun. For example, let me see. I got a prescription from the doctor. My mom sees. All right, we're describing the doctor, which in this clause is the object. So I took out the word who. I could have kept it in here. From the doctor, who my mom sees, whom my mom sees, that my mom sees. But you know, I can drop it out. I can get rid of it. That is not the case with non-defining clauses. I got a prescription from, let's go back to Dr. Wolf, who my mom sees. So in this case, I've already identified Dr. Wolf. This is just extra info. Oh, also my mom goes to the same doctor. But in this case, I have to keep who. Dr. Wolf is still the object of this clause. My mom sees Dr. Wolf. But with these non-defining clauses, we can't drop that relative pronoun. It's got to stay in here, okay? Now, next rule. And again, this one is different from defining clauses. Next rule is we can't use that. We have to use who or which. So if it's a person, we'll use who. If it's a thing, we'll use which. But we can't use that for either one, all right? Okay, and our third rule is they're always set off by commas. So as you may have already noticed, there are commas around every non-defining clause. Your shoulder which you should have stretched before lifting, needs ice. So we've got commas surrounding the relative clause. If the relative clause is at the end of the sentence, there'll be a comma first and a period at the end. And again, I've got which here, not that. If you do this with spoken English, make sure you pause at the commas. Your shoulder, which you should have stretched before lifting, needs ice. There's that comma between to kind of let people know that this is a description now. This is just extra information. Okay, last thing that you might need to know about these clauses is that sometimes either one will work depending on context. So if I tell you, my brother who lives in Seattle is a personal trainer. This is a defining clause. There's no commas, so it's telling you It's identifying which one here. So this must mean that I have 2 brothers. I have 3 brothers. I have 4 brothers. I don't know how many, but more than one. So we need this relative clause to tell my listener which one of my brothers. But this might also be a non-defining clause. My brother, who lives in Seattle, is a personal trainer. In this case, this is a non-defining clause. It's not identifying which brother. I must only have one brother. So my listener knows exactly the person I'm discussing. I don't need to specify which one. So this just extra information. My brother is a personal trainer is the important idea. This is the extra. But in this one, we need that clause to tell us which brother. So sometimes either one might be correct, but usually it's easy to tell which one. All right, that is all I've got for you today. In the comments, try using a non-defining relative clause to give me a fact about your hometown. This is Chelsea telling you it's not nerdy being wordy. Let's talk again soon.